Welcome to episode 407 of In Touch with iOS, the podcast that keeps you connected to the ever-changing Apple ecosystem. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg. Each week, we break down the latest news, updates, tips, and hidden features across iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, Vision Pro, and Apple TV, all with insights from friends, experts, and the Apple community. Because here we read the release notes so you don't have to. Let's see who is here this week. Jill McKinley is here. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great. I can't wait for the weekend. Spring fever.
Oh, well, it's great to have you here. Yes, I'm very, very happy to be that you are here. So, and Marty Jencius is here. How you doing, Marty?
Jill, are you expecting spring to actually arrive this weekend?
Yes. Sunday.
Okay. Ever optimist. I am doing fine. I'm traveling in Chicago at a conference and getting used to lousy hotel Wi-Fi.
Yes, that could happen. And Eric Bolden is here. How you doing, Eric?
Good. I got distracted. I was looking for spring on Friday, and I'm not convinced. But
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I think you're talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I'm here. It's a great day. Today was good. It was t-shirt weather today. And the peacock is back.
Oh.
Is it?
Yeah, evidently the peacock was making noise in an apartment building where the apartment building manager was repairing walls from some other tenant. So the peacock needed to visit a different location.
Well, those damn things sound like you're strangling somebody.
Yeah, they don't sound like a parrot.
Even if you label them parrot. Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. Chuck Joyner's here. How you doing, Chuck? Glad you're here.
I'm doing good, Dave. I'm totally confused about the spring discussion because Jill says it's Sunday, and yet Saturday they're predicting minus 15 wind chill here. So
I guess
24 hours doesn't seem like it would make a big difference.
No, it's swooping over you. Over here, we're getting spring.
Oh.
Yes. Well, great to have you. Jeff Gamet is here. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. And Chuck, I can help explain this to you. So, you live in a blighted part of the world, whereas I live in a place that apparently it actually is spring. We've been mid 60s here in Colorado, and we're going to get close to 70 Fahrenheit over the weekend. And yeah. It is warm enough here on February 5th, 2025, that I could go outside today in t-shirt and shorts and be comfortable.
Well,
and not get arrested.
Cletus isn't going to be happy with the weather there. It's a freeze warning in Florida tonight. So
we live in crazy times.
We do.
Jeff, please don't. That's all. Just please don't.
I did go out in shorts and a t-shirt today.
See? Oh. And Chuck, you've seen me in shorts and t-shirt. Oh, now I get it. Okay.
Moving on. Last but certainly not least, Guy Serle. So glad you're here. How you doing?
Thank you. Yes, I also live in a blighted area just outside of Washington, D.C., but it's pretty much always blighted regardless of the weather.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we've got some great topics this week. The usual stuff, In Touch with Vision Pro with the Mac and the news and everything else, but I want to tease there's going to be a big announcement at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. We've got some exciting announcements that we'll be talking about later on in the show, so a little tease there. So stick with us here. So let's just start right ahead and go into Vision Pro for this week. They did release. They always do it, Marty, and they don't have it when we have it on Mac Vision Profiles. They released the release candidate of visionOS 26.3 updates, and they're snapping it up the beta cycle, so we can expect that the final version is going to be probably released next week, usually Monday or Tuesday. Again, don't see much of any major differences. Same stuff. I installed it, didn't see anything. I know, Marty, you probably weren't able to since you've been so busy today.
No.
So that's out. I don't know, Eric, you don't do the beta, right? As you still aren't. So nothing different. it installed pretty quickly. Wasn't any big issues, so there's much else to say. We'll have link the show notes about the release notes as well as information about that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about. It's been 2 years. I can't believe it. I feel like it's been yesterday since we purchased the Vision Pro. You guys, Marty and Eric, bought it. Well, I know Marty, you bought it on release day. Eric, I think, delayed himself for a bit. It took me until September to finally buy it. I had to check the date because my Apple card was, and it was September. I thought it was earlier, but that's what it is. So yeah, it's been 2 years ago. I mean, it was so many rumors about it. If you remember, we kept talking about it. It was rumors, and they finally released. They announced it in June of 2023. So we had to sit all those months, almost close to a year, until it finally hit the stores. February 2nd was the date when they announced it at WWDC in 23, talking about it all. And it was an M2 chip with a dedicated R1 chip, and the price $34.99. Then we always get people to bellyache about it. But it was praised for the visual quality and eye and hand tracking. But if we remember, the visionOS 1 and visionOS 2 was god awful. But they've really progressed with this now. And at the point of iOS 26, it was a very cool announcement. So, Marty, Eric, you have any thoughts on this anniversary? And then, of course, Marty, you have the M5 now, which came out late last year.
Yeah, I gave a workshop this morning for
Yeah, I
basically
was going to ask you.
mental health workers who are interested in AR, VR. And so I brought too much equipment with me. But I went down and tried to explain the differences between the devices that are out there. And just like you said, Dave, that first operating system release, it was like, I just spent $3,500 on this. It's got to get better. If not, well, I will learn my lesson, I guess. And then kind of reported it, since it's been out for 2 years, how much the operating system has improved, really taking full value of the hardware. Compared to other ones, I am not exactly thrilled with the Galaxy XR. It is clumsy. And, these folks were interested in learning about group work and how you could use these devices with group work. And frankly, the XR has no platform for that other than Microsoft Meet, and Zoom, and some of the things that we do in two-dimensional kind of expression versus spatial. And then Meta had a group hardware or software called Meta Workroom. And I think probably, if you were paying attention to it, you saw how that was going to be released, and it was in a beta. Well, guess what? Meta just shut that down, or is going to shut it down on the 26th. So the consistency with Apple and the software in the development build over the last 2 years has been really pretty cool. But, a leap of faith. You said $34.95. I wish it was $34.95. It was
Oh yeah, well you bought the top line. Yeah, okay, the dollar. Okay.
Yeah, you put the decimal point in the wrong place. But yeah.
I will mention that was a lot of fun this morning. I jumped in on one of your sessions. So did Eric in the InSpace. That's spelled SPAZE. That was a lot of fun. A few minutes of hanging out with some of your attendees with you today, and you got to go in and play some music just by tapping, and then the big horn would come up and play the music. It sounded great, and there was stuff on the shelves I was grabbing and looking at. You bring it right fast, and Eric, I didn't figure out the one you were taking pictures and putting those Polaroids on the table,
right?
And it was a lot of fun. So I think that was a smart idea that you did that with your.
You had much more fun with it than I did, because
I know you couldn't have.
I had
you're stressed
because I was dealing with running one thing through my phone Wi-Fi and then running other things through the lousy hotel Wi-Fi. And until I got that lined up and went in, I didn't know I'd done it successfully. And the people sitting out in the meeting said, "Hey, are you seeing what we're seeing on your screen?" And it was like, well, thank God it worked.
A lot of people came in. They were, I'm assuming they were coming in from the session.
Just
right?
this morning, I said, okay, here's if you have an Apple phone, here is the mobile app that you can use, and I put up a QR code, and they loaded it, leap of faith, and I think they had fun being in there, and I was just panicking. Yeah, so I appreciate Eric and Dave coming in and kind of managing the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add on that, Fred?
No, it worked really well. You could put pictures up on the bulletin board. People were kind of chatting with each other as well as, participating once you got in there and were talking. So, yeah, it was kind of like any conference where there's a group of people. So it worked well.
Yep. Hey, shout out to the chat there at youtube.com/intouchwithios. And Kalita says, you should have had Starlink Mini. You could have brought the internet with you.
Yeah, right.
A little expensive. But anybody else want to add anything about that? It's amazing. 2 years, and Chuck still doesn't own one.
And this is why all the pundits are saying, oh, it's a failed product. Because until Chuck is on board, there's no guarantee that it can succeed.
I didn't know I had that kind of power, Jeff.
Well, Chuck, with great power comes great responsibility.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Well, then, no, I was just going to say there's certain things that I would be happy to endorse for a fee, just to make sure they stick around. But
yeah. Couple other stories here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the immersive video that was released last week, just after the show ended last week, and it was absolutely amazing. Apple immersive video embarked on the Crufts dog show. This article I'm showing today was just released. That it's actually part of the App Store, and you can watch the movie on, I believe, in Apple TV on the iPhone or the iPad too. It's not going to be anywhere near the experience that you're going to expect with it being on the Vision Pro. But you see these cute little pictures here. My gosh, Papillon was amazingly cute, and then this guy was from Italy, and and his cute little dog, and it was just a really, really cool. And you could spot every detail in this floor. I didn't even realize this dog was adorable here. His name is Dower, and I didn't even realize it. But this show was as huge as it was because it was really, really cool. Now I'll of note, and since I believe Marty or Eric, you both watched this, and I did say something about this. They had a section where you pop the ball on this stand, and then the dog would go boom, and it would go grab the ball out of the cup and put it in it and take it back. Well, one of the dogs went to the ball, and then he'd start to run, and it flung, and it went right into my face. And I've never jumped before watching any of these immersive videos, and that was just.
So, Dave, did you grab the ball and then run through the hoops?
I tried to after it came at me, but I was like, I was sitting in this chair. I literally went like that when it came at me.
Yeah,
you guys experienced that too, right?
It was essentially.
I don't think I was nuts.
Yeah, it was essentially a relay race with dogs.
Yeah,
and I had no concept that they had done that, and they had teams of people from different countries that brought different breeds of dogs together to participate in this relay race. It was pretty cool. This weekend was also Westminster. And so, now I've got F1, and after watching F1, now I want to follow the Formula One racing. Thank you, Apple. And after watching this dog show from Crufts, I'm watching Westminster. And, Aileen got up the next morning, and I said, oh, man, you should have seen. This is what happened at Westminster. And she thought, what has happened to my husband?
So good stuff with the Vision Pro. It'll just continue on, and got links in the show notes for both of those. With that show, it was a lot of fun to watch. But even if you watch it on the iPhone or the iPad, I believe you can, because as I showed the site, there was the App Store for the iPhone. You should be able to watch it in Apple TV. I haven't tried, but it's very possible. Again, you won't get the immersive action, but you'll get to see how cool the movie was.
It was
It was two part, and I forgot to mention it was 2 parts. So there was part 1, and then part 2 was the wrap up and with the best in show. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, it was really neat to watch because they would show, the grooming, and then the camera would kind of get close enough to get a good picture as you could watch. Well, there's like 3 strands of hair that are a little out of place, and then they put it into place and kind of get. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And don't forget, there's a
right.
basketball game coming up. So
With dogs?
Oh, there is?
With dogs.
No, with dogs. Right?
Okay.
I would watch that.
I would watch the hell out of that.
Yeah, it's called Air Bud.
Yeah.
You might have.
No, not a movie. Live. It has to be live.
Well, we don't know yet. Anything could happen, right?
Let's move on. Apple did seed out iOS 26.3 and iPadOS 26.3 beta, the release candidate. It was it's out for testing purpose, and I believe the public beta has come out as well. And they did add the thing was the transitioning from an iPhone to an Android device and vice versa. Transfers work really well, and likely what will end up happening is the fact that Apple will probably release the final version next week. So nothing real notable with that. Same thing with visionOS we just talked about, tvOS, and as well as watchOS. Nothing real big to talk about there when it comes to that. So look forward to the new things coming out next week, and it's going to be exciting here. So. Also interesting is the fact that Apple did release iOS 16, iPadOS 16, and macOS Big Sur, those minor updates. They expanded this across all of the other older iOSs. We talked about this last week, where phones as far back as iPhone 12 and iPhone 11, or even iPhone 5 came out. Well, they also did it this past Monday as we record here, and it is all related to the updates with allowing messaging to work with this. So it's iOS 16.7.14, and then it also has a Big Sur. They'll support the iPhone 10, iPhone 8, and iPhone 8 Plus. Then Big Sur will be out to 11.7.11 as well. So I find it fascinating that Apple has really decided to bring back updates to these older operating systems. You won't see that happen with Microsoft. I could say that. We said that talked about that last week. So then there's got to be still some people using Big Sur, I would think. Mac, won't they be?
Oh, absolutely.
I wouldn't be, but yeah. So there's still machines out there.
At the consumer level, I think there's more people than you would realize that are using the older versions of Mac OS because they have like an iMac that is still working fine, but it won't take newer operating systems. But it does what they need, so they're like, why buy a new computer? And in the business space, what if you have software that doesn't run on newer OS versions? So you've locked that Mac at the older OS.
Yeah, spend time with Mac user groups, and you'll realize how many people have old computers running old operating systems, having questions for you, and it's like, what?
Yeah. And don't forget the fact that some of that old software interfaces with old hardware that people may find either personally or from a business standpoint that necessary, maybe essential to their businesses. And so they keep an old machine with that old software and those old drivers running to keep that attached machine running.
Right.
Yeah, I can't.
Look up and you go, Tiger?
Do you do that,
Really?
Chuck?
You're on Tiger. Seriously.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but are you running an older machine, Chuck?
No, not for that purpose. I'm like Marty said, having been around user groups for a long time, that was always a problem. And this is not a new problem. It's an old problem because people had certain scanners. I think there were
scanners was a big thing.
Scanners was one, but there were knitting machines. That's not the right. Yeah, that's not the right term, but you know what I mean.
Embroidery, sewing machines.
Embroidery. Thank you, Joe. Yes, embroidery machine.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Chuck froze.
Chuck's
Mhm.
Mac
My-
2C just locked up on him.
He's back.
Oh,
My mom, my friend.
You froze for a minute there,
oh,
Tom.
sorry. Well, it's cold here,
That's okay.
Dave. I told you it's cold.
My dad's friend is a musician who produces albums, and all his music software will not run on anything past, I don't know, 10? I don't know what it was. It's just built that way.
Music software is another one. So
Yeah.
there's some really legitimate uses for old machines, and as long as they're not connected to the internet,
Yeah.
so what?
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter. All right, so glad to see it. I also Watch OS 10 and Watch OS 9 is also gotten updates as well. So, we moved in touch with Mac this week. A couple things, of course, with everybody else, every other betaverse release. Tahoe 26.3 release candidate was also released. Not much added to it. Other than I'm sporting it on my own Mac, and I'm actually being allowed to test it on our production Macs at work. So I've been testing it as well. So because we want to be up and make sure we're good to go when it gets released out to all the rest of the community and at work here. So notably is I think 26.3 may be the signal of the M5 Pro and the M5 Max may be released. I didn't add this in here, but I wanted to just mention that real quick, that I'm itching to buy that. And one of those, not the Pro, I'm not going Max. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's a crazy time for me. But I think they're going to get announced next week. I have this feeling. There's been rumors out there that they may come out, but so when 26.3 drops as the final version, I might be having my gift card lined up, ready to go, and my trade-in and the rest of my money to buy a new M5 Pro and trade in my M1. So we'll see what happens.
Cha-ching.
So anybody else have that? Anybody else that feeling?
Also,
Yeah, I have the feeling you're going to do that too. Yes.
We'll do it,
Yeah.
but is it going to come out? Will it come out? Because Apple's always done that.
I think so.
There's enough stuff lining up to make that a very plausible thing. There's the hints in the OS code. There's Apple's pattern for time of year. There's also the thing where if you go to order a Mac online from Apple, they've been a few weeks out for delivery for a little while now.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's all lining up to tell me that you're buying a new Mac next week.
Yeah, no. I haven't bought one. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I did. Mac Mini.
or do you think they'll update the
Oh,
studio?
MacBook Air.
Finally?
What's
Do you
that?
think they'll update the studio finally?
Possibly. I don't know if it's going to be this round. It might be just the MacBook Pros.
I
At
think the
this point,
studio's
they'll do
probably
that
coming
later.
closer to WWDC.
Yeah, I bet they hold it for that because of developers. So, all right. One more thing about the Mac here. I found this interesting, and I didn't mean to do that. Let's go to the website here. Apple has changed how you can order a Mac. Recently, they updated their online store with new ordering process for Macs, including the MacBook Air Pro, iMac, Mac Mini, M Studio, and the Mac Pro. There used to be a handful of just standard configurations available for each Mac, but now you must configure a Mac entirely from scratch on a feature-by-feature basis. In other words, ordering a new Mac now works much like ordering an iPad. And the change was spotted here with the fact that you choose your size, you choose the chip you want, and you go through and you still can't and you can continue to have the certain specs and of course change the RAM you want. So it was very fascinating to see all of a sudden Apple change this, because it always was when you would go on Apple site to order a Mac, you had to really go deep to get to the configurations. Anybody have any thoughts on this?
Sure. It made sense to do this change because now buying a Mac lines up with the way you buy Apple's other products, and I get that some people are like, yeah, but I could just click the one button and I had everything selected. Sure, but Apple has, in a sense, taken away one layer in the ordering process, because you'd click the button and then you'd go through and select all the stuff you want. So now you just start at the beginning and select all the stuff you want.
Are you able to select like a base model without having to go through the entire configuration?
You the base model options are highlighted. I think they're selected by default for you. But I don't remember for sure. I went through the process to spec out a computer just to see how it went. And as I was looking at each thing down the list, the standard base model configuration, it told you that this is what that is, and everything else is something you select above that.
So you didn't accidentally buy a Intel Mac Pro.
Somehow I managed to avoid buying an Intel Mac Pro.
Good. Thumbs up.
Go me.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any comments on this?
Go Eric. Sorry. Go ahead. Eric.
I was just going to say, I noticed that as you're going through the configuration, certain choices you make go back and then rewrite the other choices. So if you pick the base machine with a little bit of memory, and then all of a sudden you pick a whole lot of drive space, then when you click OK, it says, "Oh, I got to make some other changes," and all of a sudden it's a different processor and a different, and so it's kind of nice that it just adjusts the stuff it needs to have adjusting. I'm just not sure how much of that is to make sure all the pricing comes out right, and how much of it is if you do this, then you really do need those other options. So I found it more difficult to do a low-level machine with a lot of extra stuff like storage. I ended up with more things than I was looking for.
Yeah, you really had to have that car with the seat heaters. And then when you see the migration
I have them
to the cost, it's like, oh, and then you get sticker shock with all those things added in. I get that, Eric.
I like this. I mean, because I guess I've always been one that shied away from the standard configurations because they never seemed to be exactly what I wanted. And now you still have the option of sort of selecting a quote unquote standard model, but it just feels like the customization is easier, that it's easier to be aware of. It's easier to sort of, to Marty's point, but in reverse, recognize, how much something's going to cost you and see the bottom line. The old one did that, but it didn't feel like it was quite as smooth as this new one is. So
yeah, my head goes in saying I can get a new Mac for $1,500. My paycheck or my bill comes out at like $2,500. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but look at all the extra stuff you got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wish they would have said. I wish they would have said you can get a Mac for $1,500, except Marty.
They make it real easy to spend extra money.
Hey, Guy.
Yeah.
I went back and started selecting a new Mac because I couldn't remember the correct answer to your question. And even for the standard options, you do have to select to allow the next options to become available to you.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one other thing just to throw in.
Yeah.
And I just lost it. Shoot, it was a really good point too. Yeah, I got nothing. Oh, I know what it was. It was. This is the same group that has challenged Apple's, especially the base level configurations as being inadequate. And so now you're kind of not forced, but you are encouraged to kick those up a little bit, or at least be aware that you are buying something that is really base level. So, it's 6 to 1, half dozen another. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to have somebody potentially buy an underpowered, or scratch that, underconfigured machine, because nothing is underpowered anymore, but an underconfigured machine, or is it better to make them walk through the steps and get a machine that really suits them?
Yeah. And Guy, more info for you.
Oh, good.
So what you're selecting before you can just say, and I'll take whatever it is after that. You start by selecting screen size, then case color, then whether or not you want the anti-reflective screen, and then which processor you want. And then after that, it's like, okay, and so here's what's standard with everything you picked. And then you can choose like upgrade your RAM, upgrade your SSD storage, if you want the higher powered charger, all of that stuff.
It seems like it's a lot of configuration for a Mac Mini.
Well, if you're doing it for a Mac Mini, yes, that
I'm kidding.
yeah,
We were
yeah,
talking about displays, and it was
Hey.
like, okay, Mac Mini time.
yeah.
And Cletus says, actual new hardware. Tweak it out, Woot. Take my card. And then Chucky says, you got to soup it up. You got to soup up. Soup that Mac up.
We're about to get into a discussion of, what's your philosophy for buying machines. And so if you want to go there, Dave,
I kind of think most consumers see Macs as overpriced. So when they see something starting at $15.99, it doesn't influence them to go further and go, oh, well, I think I'll buy. No, they want to buy a computer with everything in it, not customized. And for the entry level consumer, I think it's gonna scare them in a way that's like, what are they trying to do? Upsell me on this whole stuff.
Marty, I think a lot of those people aren't going to buy online. They're going to go into the Apple store and buy a pre-configured machine there.
Yeah,
but your point is valid.
Yeah, or Amazon or Best Buy. But yeah, I agree completely, Jeff.
All right. We'll go move on out of this. That was good conversation. Appreciate it. And then let's hit some of the other topics I have this week. Apple's given final warning to home app users. In 2022, Apple introduced the Apple Home architecture that is more reliable and efficient, and the deadline to upgrade is avoiding issues, is approaching. It was an email that was sent out earlier this week that Apple gave customers a final reminder to upgrade their home app by February 10th, which is only 5 days from now as we're recording. And then Apple says who do not upgrade may experience issues with accessories and automations or lose their smart home in the app entirely. In addition, users who do not upgrade will miss out on newer features like robot vacuum cleaner support, and they will not receive important security fixes and performance improvements. And they're saying, go ahead and upgrade. So I'm going to start with Jeff here because I know your robot vacuum kind of took a dump.
My robot vacuum took a dirt nap. And so it is actually sitting on the floor collecting dust the old-fashioned way through gravity as opposed to sucking it up. Yeah. And I haven't replaced it yet. Actually, I have other devices that have recently started failing, and I'm not replacing any of them yet either. And I went to see what happens over the next few months and just with the space in general, and then I'll decide how I'm going to move forward with what I'm replacing. But as far as what this announcement means for most people, it means absolutely nothing, because without realizing it, you updated a long time ago, or you bought into the HomeKit ecosystem after the transition had started. So you started in with the new architecture anyhow. And I'm sure there are some people who this will bite them, but I think that's going to be a minority. So generally speaking, I think that this hard deadline that's coming up in days is going to be a non-issue for the majority of people.
Little clickbait. I guess I could say.
Yeah.
But what really is the state of the home app these days? Again, Jeff, you work a lot. I need to get better. When I get into my new home, I need to get better and get some more home automation. Where is the state of it now? I think Apple's not done a great job with it. Honestly. That's probably easy. It's a nice way of saying it, probably.
Generally speaking, the state of consumer level home automation tools and is pretty poor. It's kind of a convoluted thing. I think compared to other companies, Apple has done a better job of making it more approachable and easier to get on board with your devices and start using them. But it's still, I think, intimidating for a lot of people, and it can be confusing at times. Also, Apple has never fixed one of the horrible fatal flaws in the whole HomeKit architecture, which is that you cannot do a true full backup of your HomeKit setup. So, and it's a very brittle, fragile setup. So if something breaks in there, that's it. It is just broken unless you're willing to do a full reset and start over from scratch with your home automation setup. And I think that's a really bad oversight on Apple's part that they still haven't properly addressed that. So I'm still at the point where I feel like if you're doing consumer level smart home and home automation, this is something to play with. This is not something to rely on. This is a great hobby. It's not mission. You don't want mission critical for this. If you need mission critical on that level, you need to go and hire a company that does professional home automation with professional home automation tools. And that's a lot of money.
Most people wouldn't. Most people
No,
wouldn't.
most people don't want to do that.
Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Jeff, you sound like a marvelous marketing spokesperson for Apple's home automation. I gave up on it about a month after I tried to use it. And, it's easier to train my dog to turn things on and off at particular times of day than for home automation to be reliable.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, I got into,
Go ahead, Jill.
I started out with Alexa. Well, first I started out if this and that and tried to, merge everything together. Then I went to Alexa and then tried with all of that. And HomeKit's been better than everything else I've tried.
I agree with you on that. Yep.
Yeah. And I have a lot of home automation. This house is runs itself. I just walk in and out of rooms and it does everything for me. So I'm big into it. So I'm a little worried that some of my other things, like I got the garage door opener and the door locks, and I'm hoping everything survives that. But I think Apple's been pretty good.
For you don't need to worry about it. It already survived that because you're on the new architecture. And if it's all working, you're fine.
Yep, that's true. I'm going to replace all my cameras soon and looking for something to make it all go into HomeKit. But anyway.
Yeah, I've been using Eufy for that. The problem I'm having is that the mechanical switch that flips the infrared filter up and down sticks on every damn Eufy camera that I've played with. So I have to unplug them, plug them back in to get the switch to reset. Otherwise, in the day, you have pink and purple for everything, which is okay it's okay unless you're not colorblind.
It's stories like this that make me just train my dog to do it.
And it's a lot more fun, Marty, because after your dog does it, you're like, oh, good boy, good girl. Yeah. The joy you both experience, it's great. Saying that to a Eufy camera, you just look weird.
Nothing. You get
yeah.
Jeff, Guy, you have any thoughts on this? Go, Guy.
No, I also tried my hand at home automation using Apple's home app, and it was a resounding failure. I think partly because most of the devices I got required you to keep the boxes and all kinds of stuff so that if something goes wrong, you could go back and reprogram it in again. And the first time that happened, it was like, oh, I was supposed to keep all that crap. And so then I ended up with just a pile of electronics that couldn't do anything with. So I've kind of held back from home automation. I'm waiting until they get more of the bugs out and that it doesn't automatically go to the Internet of Things and report back to their masters, whatever the heck it is I'm doing in my house.
Yep. Go ahead, Chuck.
I want to endorse. Sorry, Jeff, but I want to endorse my Eufy experiences, because my Eufy experiences have been better than pretty much anything else out there.
Mine too, actually.
Yeah, and I've I'm not going to trash anybody else's brand. I'll talk Eufy up. Some of the others have been fine, but they're weird. And Eufy does this wonderful thing of, it gives you one link to follow, one thing to put in, one thing to do, and then it just walks you through the whole process. Instead of you having to, okay, now go to menu 3 and select item 7, unless you really want item 9. And, it's Eufy is the Cadillac right now, as far as I'm concerned. But I have not.
I agree.
But I have not had the issue you're talking about with the infrared filter.
It's the Eufy experience. I agree. It's better than most camera makers' experience, and overall, I've been pleased with the Eufy camera that I have. The problem that I have with it, though, is a problem that I've seen a lot of other people having, which is that stupid switch that flips the filter up and down gets stuck, and you have to reset the camera. But still, I think Eufy, especially compared to other companies, is making much better cameras, and I think they do a much better job compared to a lot of other companies of supporting HomeKit.
I had the whole kit and caboodle in my cart last Black Friday. Every Eufy, to replace every light and thing I had and camera I had outside. And the doorbell is not HomeKit compatible, but everything else is. And I thought,
that's so stupid.
I'm going to wait until the doorbell is also HomeKit compatible, I guess, because that's the one I use the most for cameras.
Jill, check the new one that they just brought out. Because I can't remember whether they told me that it definitely was or was not, but there's probably a much better chance.
Okay. Hilariously, Ring just came up with an update with AI in it, and my friend got a 2-week, thing of it, and it says, there's a squirrel in your yard, there's a blackbird on your bird feeder, and it's actually identifying things in the camera, and she said it's very weird.
My current yard right now, it would go nuts.
Yeah.
All the squirrels are in my backyard.
Mm-hmm. My dog will do the same thing.
Yep.
That dog is set as one dog.
Yeah. I'll consider home automation when that dog dies, but up until now.
And as far as squirrels go, now if Ring could connect to a firearm, then I might be into it.
I knew that was coming.
I might be into it. There's a squirrel in your yard. Bang! There's no squirrel in your yard anymore.
I see what you're saying there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck, you are not talking about anything that is not possible today. All it takes is just a little bit of internet searching to find the elements that you need to put together to make what you want actually happen.
And get a relay panel.
Sounds like this is the voice of experience talking, Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, I hear my mom calling. I got to go.
Okay, let's go ahead.
She's been identified as being in your backyard, Jeff.
Yeah, again.
My friend replied to the whole thing that she can't wait for the day where it says blonde lady tripping on her sidewalk.
Okay, that'll be funny.
That would be funny.
Right up to you.
So let's go ahead and move on. We're going to talk a little bit about CarPlay. The CarPlay Ultra, amazingly enough, is going to expand to a couple of vehicle brands later this year. When Apple introduced CarPlay Ultra, the long-awaited next generation of its CarPlay software system for vehicles, nearly 9 months later, it still has been limited to just the Aston Martin luxury vehicles. Not anybody is going to be changing very soon here. In May 2025, Apple said that other brands were planning to offer CarPlay Ultra, including Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis. It looks like it's going to come out in the second half of this year, referring to Hyundai's upcoming Ioniq 3, and that's their EV model. So there isn't that much going on with this still. I mean, it was all rumor that some of these brands were going to be doing it. And others are downplaying it. We've talked about this before, GM and all of them that don't use it anymore. And then that improbable thing that Tesla would offer CarPlay Ultra is absolutely
ludicrous,
silly, ludicrous. Yeah, that's a good word. That's out there. So that was interesting here. One thing I want to talk about here real quick is on the CarPlay connection and why you have connection issues. Because I've been having a little bit here and there since updating the 26. If your CarPlay's connection randomly drops out while driving this, the cause might not be your iPhone cable or car. Radio interference, of all things, could be the cause of the troubles. This was an Axios report that last year detailed a peculiar phenomenon. It was in Boston where drivers were losing their CarPlay and Android Auto connections at the exact same spots. Similar dead zones are likely in other cities that may go unreported. CarPlay units don't handle GPS navigation on their own. Instead, they maintain the direct connection to the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connection to your iPhone or cellular, projecting a view based on that connection. So it's in there. So it's fascinating to see. I have not experienced that part. I've experienced sometimes a connection issue since my car's older. I have a CarPlay adapter as plugs into the USB port. It's been working kind of weird for me anyway, but I've not heard this connection. Anybody have this connection experience in dead spots? I don't think any of us have.
I do. So I'm not going to name the street I live on, but I call it the dead zone because I couldn't get AM radio back when AM radio was a thing, or FM. I couldn't get cellular until they put a tower in my backyard. I can't get any reception on anything. And when I drive into my neighborhood, my CarPlay goes dead. I get static. It's just the weirdest thing. And I never knew what it was. And I was like, aha, this is it.
You live in Area 51, Jill?
I do.
No, she lives in Faraday Cage, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, man, now you outed me. That makes sense now that he calls it that.
So be aware of that.
This doesn't surprise me
other topic
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could go on, but
be aware of that.
Never mind.
It is another birthday. It's the iPad. The iPad turned 16 this last week. It marks over a 1.5 decades. The company's revolutionary tablet. That faithful day on January 27th, 2010, when Steve Jobs came out and introduced the iPad. No, the first generation iPad, and it had the 9.7-inch LED backlit display, custom designed chip, a 30-pin connecting dock, and the 64 gigs of storage. And it started at $499, which actually, think about it, that's not a bad price compared to now. But back in those days, this was not a high-end iPad, and since then, look where the iPad's gone. And I think it's gone. Revolutionary is probably a good word to say, and it continues to excel in its market. I'm working with them very extensively now at work, and I see things that can be just so valuable, not even for play, for work as well. Chuck, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't even know. At this point. I mean, it feels like a natural evolution of things. I don't know if that helps or not, but that is. I just look at this and say, okay.
Okay, no problem. Jeff, you must have thoughts.
I do, and for me, the iPad was revolutionary, just like the iPhone was. And I remember getting the original iPad, and it was just amazing what I was able to do with it. And that has not changed. So even today, I cannot imagine having my technology set up and not having an iPad as part of that mix. And I know it's all dependent on how you use your devices, but iPad became an integral part of how I do all the things that I do, and that happened very quickly.
Yeah. Anybody else have any other thoughts?
I remember when it when it first came out, when it was first released, I went down to the Clarendon, Virginia, Apple store, and there was a huge line of people waiting to get into the store. So I whipped out my phone and I don't even remember what kind of microphone I was using, but it was plugged directly into the phone. And I started doing like questions and answers to a bunch of the people that were waiting in line. And everyone was like super excited about it. And I did not buy one that day. I actually waited, I think, until the second or third generation came out. But yeah, I couldn't imagine, half the time now when I travel, I don't take my laptop. It's big and it's clunky. And for the most part, I don't need it. I just have my 12.9-inch iPad Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anybody else?
I always say this probably every year. Sorry if you want. That when I saw so I was in charge of. I worked for a hospital software company, and I was in charge of tablets for hospitals, and they cost $11,000 a piece. And I desperately wanted one more than anything itself. And then all of a sudden, the iPad announcement came out, and it was the first time in my life I looked at something and I said I had to have it. I just had to have it. Because I was like, it doesn't cost $11,000, and look at all the cool things that this one for the hospital is just boring. It just says hospital things. This one looks fun. So, the best thing I ever bought.
Yeah. Right, Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, I was kind of triggered by what Guy said when he said it's big and clunky, and I don't want to take it anywhere. That's how my wife describes me. But I got a second or third generation iPad, and Aileen and I were on vacation, and my son-in-law at the time sent me pictures of him opening it up.
Yeah. The son-in-law at the time. That's the key part of the statement right there.
Yes. Before you move off this we move off this topic, Cletus has to say, I remember when the iPad came out thinking, why did I need this? It's an oversized phone and an underpowered computer. I guess I could think that the iPad, the first gen, was pretty slow.
But people didn't know what to do with it in many cases.
Yeah. Right.
The very last Macworld Expo in 2014, I did not take a computer. I did everything, including interviews and everything else, on the iPad, and uploaded and did all of the MyMac stuff that I was doing at the time. And it took longer, yes. And it was clumsier, yes. But at the same time, I just had like one little portable microphone, and I was able to do everything on a tablet.
Guy, I remember MacStock one year, back when it was at the community college.
McHenry College.
And you had your podcast recording rig set up in that cafeteria area.
I remember.
It's an iPad, and the number of wires that you had going back and forth, I'm like, it's literally impossible to have that many wires feeding through to an iPad somehow, and yet you have done it, and it works. And so on one hand, I'm looking at it thinking, this is the most ridiculous setup you could imagine. Go you. And then my second thought was, this is the future of how we do this.
Yeah, they were calling me Frankenstein that day.
It wasn't because of the iPad.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't just that day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, was it the bolts? Yeah. Was it the bolts sticking out of my neck?
It was.
Yeah. I just thought you were excited to be there.
I was.
Jeff, Cletus does agree with you, right? He cannot live without his iPad now.
I upgrade my iPad on a regular basis, and I still can't get the workflow. It's like, oh hell, I'll just get my MacBook Air out and do it on that. So I haven't made that transition very well, and it's almost like I'm ready to jump off that pony, and
Marty,
just stick with my MacBook Airs. Yeah,
and that's a perfectly acceptable thing, actually. For some people, it would be like trying to put screws into a board with a hammer. It's just not the right tool for what you're doing. and that's okay. And it turned out for me, the iPad became the perfect tool for many things that I was doing. And I can't imagine not having one, like Cletus, anymore. But at the same time, there's still things that I do where I won't even try right now to do them on an iPad. It's just that's a thing that happens on the Mac, and that's not going to change for the near future, at least.
Yeah, and with audio, anything that you want to, if you want to record separate tracks or whatever it is that you've got going on, it can be done, but it is super clunky and near impossible. And you're better off just doing it with a tool like a Mac that is built for it already.
Yeah, that's where my audio stuff happens. It's on my Mac.
And Jeff, that's why I guess why I can't get excited over the topic here, because we've been down this road so many times. If it's right for you, it's right for you, and if it's not, then it's not. Use the best tool. I frankly, when I travel, I carry both, because there's some things that the iPad is superior for. There are other things that the Mac is superior for, and I'm in a favorable position to be able to afford both. And so, even, especially now with Sidecar, now you can use it as a second monitor, if for no other reason. So, they're
graphics tablet with your Mac,
or a graphics tablet with your Mac. Yeah, I burn out on the discussion that the Mac should be the iPad or the iPad should be the Mac, and it's like
I like them being separate things, and they each excel at different tasks for me,
and they complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. Let's move on.
No.
We've been burned that topic, but it was good discussion. So let's move on to the news this week. I think Chuck's going to be happy about this. The Apple Sports app now supports golf and more. The Apple Sports app is really just expanding like gangbusters. It's got men's and women's golf, along with improvements to soccer and tennis coverage. The app's going to introduce support for every single PGA and LPGA tournament, with live leaderboards, round by round scorecards for every golfer, and real-time updates in the app, widgets, live activities. The app, of course, supports most of the major sports teams and such, especially F1, and the Premier League is on there. So you can track your favorite players, hole-by-hole results, individual scores. This is kind of cool, and this is just going to continue to excel even more. What do you think, Chuck? Are you going to be using this for golf?
Yeah, I will. I enjoy watching it, but to a comment Marty made in our Slack earlier today, it does take a lot of time, and it also takes a lot of time to dig down to see how your favorite player is doing, and see if somebody blew up on the round, what happened. So yeah, I'm delighted to see this. It's about time that that the app grew up and took on a real sport.
Yep, agreed. And anybody else have any other comments?
I know where this is heading. First, it's F1, then it's fluffy little dog shows, and soon I'll be looking at golf statistics on my sports app.
They're much more interesting than the fluffy dog shows.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story. Amazon's Alexa Plus is now going to be free for all Prime members. So it's going to be beating the S-Lady to smarter S-Lady to market. The AI assistant is rolling out to all U.S. Amazon Prime subscribers beginning today. It's actually yesterday as we record this. Be available to everybody in the United States. Amazon says Prime subscribers can access Alexa Plus with the Alexa app, at Alexa-enabled devices, and at the Alexa.com website. And Prime members can access Alexa Plus by saying the Alexis or upgrade to Alexa Plus, and or logging into your Amazon accounts on the website. They've been testing it for a while. I kind of stumbled across it. I had it on one of my newer Amazon devices, and it seemed to work pretty good. It does sound AI-ish. I don't know if anybody has tried it yet, as far as as far as it goes. If you have a newer device, because I have a lot of older devices. Like one in my bathroom when you take a shower is a really old one of the first Amazon devices. But has anybody tried it?
I've been using it in the early release, and the new voice with the vocal fry in it to try and make it sound more human really freaking annoys me. I'm not a fan of vocal fry. I appreciate the trying to make the voice sound even more human, but I don't think they did it in the right way. As far as everything that it can do, I haven't been all that excited about the changes. I don't feel like I'm really getting that much more out of my Echo devices than I was before the new version came out. Honestly, the biggest change for me is listening to her chipper vocal fry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked her, could you please not sound like a 12-year-old girl?
Yeah, and then like a 12-year-old girl with vocal fry, she went, okay, yeah.
Let me change all
Okay,
your
so now
lives.
she's passive aggressive. Yeah.
Male voice number 2 is delightful. So you can say change voice and you will start getting other voices. And she came out the first time and I'm like, nope, I'm not dealing with that voice. I said, do you have other voices? And I ran through them and the second male voice is pretty good. Although he sounds hot. And so then I'll say something like, I'm reading a book and I listen to audiobooks before, going to sleep, but I'll say, put sleep timer for 30 minutes, which means it'll shut off after 30 minutes. And it's like, okay, Jill, you got it. I'm like, woo. So there you go.
I should try and change it to the hot guy voice because I'm assuming he doesn't have vocal fry.
He does not. He sounds delightful.
Okay. Because the vocal fry thing in the whatever voice I'm using right now, it is really distracting.
Well, for the record, I also don't have vocal fry.
So if my Echo sounded like you, Guy,
it would be
I'd actually pay more for
problems.
it. Yeah, I mean, there would be totally different problems, but they'd be a lot more fun.
Which is stupider would be the first question.
I will say that I did try to do some AI things with it to can it answer higher level questions, and it just can't. It's not anything good, but it was able. So I accidentally today set an alarm and set a timer. And before I would say, cancel all alarms and timers. And it would say, what? And then I would say, okay, cancel timer, cancel alarm. But this time it got it and said, okay, I canceled everything.
Yeah, the little things like that I have noticed.
But
yeah,
not much though.
Yeah, I get responses like, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. However, would you like to purchase is the response that I get.
Oh, yeah. Some toilet paper. Yeah.
I've
Chuck,
go ahead. Yeah, I tried it. I tried Alexa Plus. Sorry, I just said it. I apologize.
Sorry, Craig. We'll say, hey, lady.
Yeah. During the beta period or the early access period, and it was terrible, and I reverted. And just recently, I one of my devices reminded me, and so I turned it back on. And yeah, Jill, that's a great tip because I don't mind the vocal fry doesn't bother me as much as just it's chatty, sort of like what Marty said. It's like just the facts, please. Just that's the only thing. And so I don't know, Jill, do you know how to cut down on its chattiness?
There was a setting that existed a long time ago in the app itself, which cut down on don't say responses, just do it. But small things like that. But I don't know if you can talk to it and ask it to pipe down a bit. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want it to say, "Oh, you got it, Chuck." Just yes, no, or do it.
Yeah,
but
that's a setting in the app actually where you can say, "Should I vocalize a response?" and just say no.
Yeah. So, but overall, I'm with you, Joe. I haven't really tried that many AI things. It still can answer basically the things that I've always asked Alexa for. So that's fine.
Yeah. And Chuck, I think one of the reasons I haven't seen a lot of difference in the new A-Lady is because I'm not giving Amazon access to a lot of my other personal accounts, which it needs to be able to do the contextual things that that it's capable of.
Yeah, good point. And
I
I
will
don't either,
say,
Jeff. Yep.
I have a bunch of Hue lights, and it was having trouble because I have this light. Anyway, it was having trouble distinguishing parts of the room. Like, turn on my bed light, but don't turn on the big blinding flashy bulbs over my bed. And now it can. So it's a little smarter when it comes to turning on and off things.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I've also noticed that one place that I hoped would improve has not, where it figures out what smart devices you have.
No.
That's still a clunky process. Apple
I know,
is very
I
much
did some-
winning in that place.
Yeah, before this trip, I used the A-Lady. I actually tried to ask the A-Lady, could you switch to an Australian voice? And that's not in their purview because the S-Lady that I have is an Australian voice. But I still use it for a few of the lights I can automate around the house. But every time, and I only use that when we're on trips. And every time we go on a trip, it's like they have to reset the damn thing up again because the A-Lady hasn't quite remembered it or figured it out, or what's going around, turning lights on and off until they flash 3 times, and that that whole mess that we talked about with automation.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We've got a couple Apple TV stories here this week. Apple did announce there are some 12 new movies and shows that are coming out this year. They did a preview of 12 new shows and films that will be premiering on the Apple TV streaming service throughout 2026. We have a bunch of new series, and I'm not going to go through all of them here, but this is in the article in the show notes. And Cape Fear is one I think I've noticed about. This was from the movie from years ago. I'm assuming it's based on, right?
The book.
And it's produced by Martin Scorsese's involved with this. But I tell you, Apple has just got some pretty amazing things, associations with some of these movies. It's just crazy in series. So they had there's a bunch of new films. Matchbox, the movie. What that one is that? What
Little
is that?
toy cars.
No, it is. Is it really?
No.
They talk to each other.
Oh wait, yeah, it is. It's inspired by the iconic Mattel toys Matchbox, the movie.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wait, I thought
John Cena
Mattel
and
had
Jessica
Hot
Biel
Wheels.
and Sam Richardson. Oh my gosh, will be back in October. So so there's a lot of new stuff that's coming out, which is great. I'm pretty excited the way Apple TV has gone, and I got to get my butt in gear, start watching a lot of the other shows. I think Shrinking had a new episode. I gotta go watch that one.
Good. It's good.
This new one that came up. Yeah, I got to go watch it. Make sure I get that. There's a lot of great things. I think every time I say it, I think it's worth the cost of what Apple TV is now. Watching all this great stuff here.
I was going to say
it is. It was originally it was slow, but I supported it since day one, and I will continue to support that too. So
there's a series called Stormbringer and Mistborn, which is a very monstrous science fiction fantasy or more fantasy series of books by Brandon Sanderson, and they're fantastic. And Apple bought up the whole kit and caboodle. And a lot of people I know who read that series was like, "Oh gosh, is Apple going to do a good job?" And I'm like, Apple always does a really good job with every series they adapt. I trust them more than I would trust other people, and I'm looking forward to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Think about both Foundation and
it's bigger than Foundation.
Both Witherbucket and Cletus are saying Monarch.
Yeah, that's starting up soon.
Yeah, I got to go watch that too.
I'd like to tell Apple to stop it. Just stop it, because I've already got too many shows to watch. And it becomes a challenge.
Well, you're not going to like this then, Marty. Good segue here. Eddie Q and Formula One CEO tease an F1 the movie sequel as Apple TV press day event, which was yesterday as we record this. The company announced multiple movies and series, as we showed throughout this year, along with renewals of the shows. Towards the end of the event, Eddie Q had a brief Q&A where he read out questions from attending press. And one of the last questions that was asked at Q said, holding an iPad that's fielding all the press questions submitted their way. It's my favorite question of all, and it's kind of a boomerang because both of us will answer. Is there going to be another Formula One movie, given the success and how great the first movie was? They just basically said, stay tuned. So I think we have some great things ahead on Apple TV, and I hope there's a new F1 movie. I want to go back and watch it again. That's such a great movie, and I watched it, and I saw it in the theater, and I think you did too, Marty. And it was a great movie, and of course I bought it, so I own it now. Which I should have just waited like a dummy. Yeah. Anybody have any thoughts on this?
I hope we don't see the F1 movie, the sequel, for at least a few years, because I hope that they and to whoever said it, Apple does it right. I hope they don't just try to rip this out and we have the sequel. Go ahead, let the writers do a good job, get the right script, get the right story to tell, because otherwise it's going to devalue the original one.
Yep. Anybody else?
So will this one be called F2, then the next one's F3.
With costumes.
It's actually F1. F1 back with a match.
I like teasing you about that, Jeff.
I think the Fast series did that, Jeff. Let's hope not.
Now they did say that if they did it, it wasn't going to be next year. There was going to be time before they could do something.
Good.
All right, so before we go, I teased about an announcement. I know most of us know about it, but I wanted to tease it anyway. MacStock 10. It was announced today. Mike Potter had his event, and he announced all the great things coming for MacStock 10. It's 150 days, 3 days away as of the recording this, so it's pretty awesome. And there's a streaming replay. You can watch the stream that has all the updates and more. The theme is Inspire. And you'd be inspired by all the presentations and workshops, but there is a big announcement. Ecamm again is partnering up with MacStock again. I'm so excited about this, but they're also going to be doing a creator camp. So that what they've done is there's going to be two paths to have fun, as Mike says, two paths to inspiration. You'll have the standard weekend pass. That's the 3 days, July 10th through the 12th. And it's right now they've got early bird pricing up through March 31st. That's $3.99. But now what you can get is the creator camp with the MacStock bundle. That's 4 full days. July 9th will be the creator camp, and it's going to be limited to only 100 tickets. They wanted to keep it, cozy and limited because they always Ecamm has bigger. They have bigger camps throughout the rest of the year, so they wanted to keep it, in that place. But you get everything with the MacStock weekend, plus you'll have full access to the creator camp workshops. They're going to have the day of hands-on training. You'll have direct time with the Ecamm team. Katie Folks and Doc Rock will be there for sure, and it's going to be exciting to hang out with them. And you'll have all kinds of workshop materials, and you get coffee and lunch included on all 4 days. And you're going to have, of course, the swag. You're going to have the T-shirt, all that fun stuff. So I'm pretty stoked. This path is going to be, it's discounted to $524 for 4 days. You're getting in for that. But if not, you can just stick with the regular bundle here. I'm super stoked about this. And they've already got the a number of speakers submitted talks, and I'm super excited. I hope all you are as well. I know everybody here is, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So hopefully, Guy, you're going to make it this year.
Yeah, I missed it
Are we
last
gonna-
year. Huh.
Yeah. Well, not this year. You're going to make it. So go to MacStock.com, or not MacStock.com, MacStockConferenceandExpo.com. There's a link in the show notes that'll bring you right to the registration page. Register today. Grab your tickets. And I said the first 100 tickets are only going to be available for the Creator Camp. That's going to be a blast. I can't wait. I've been using Ecamm for close to 6 months now, I think it is. And I was a slacker. I had all these years and didn't do it. Now I'm loving it. And I think everybody is enjoying the way everything flows with Ecamm. So, but the Creator Camp is great because you can get to hang out with other people who are into their creativity and being able to learn all there is. Ecamm has an amazing fam with Katie is all kinds of stuff she's posting, and all the rest of the fams out there on YouTube and on Facebook and all the social medias. So come check it out. And again, MacStockConferenceandExpo.com/register, and you'll be able to come join us. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting, and it'll be here in no time here. So there'll be more announcements to come, but go check it out.
Wait,
I would appreciate it.
Do we speakers get into
go
the
ahead, Jill.
creative camp? Are we?
No, that's one thing that was announced is the speakers. He'll work out a deal for us if we're speakers. So we'll still have to pay for that because that's he's kind of treating it as Ecamm's deal.
Yeah.
But it's packaged as part of the whole weekend.
That seems fair.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's fair. Yeah. So, but all right. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. So before we wrap up here, let's find out where everybody can be found. I'm going to reverse the order this time. Guy, Serle, where can people find you? Thanks for
you can find me on the G-Man Show. The email for that is gmenshow@icloud.com, GMENSHOW@icloud.com. I can be found on Twaxter and Skies of Blue as either Mac Parrot or Vert Shark. You can also, as far as those two particular places go, we also have Guy and Gaz. That's another account with both of those that you can contact us with. And we have a telephone number, which is 703-828-4677. And that's about it. Thank you. Thank you, Dave, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Always. Jeff Gamet, thank you for being here, as always. Where can people find you?
Well, when I'm not sitting here thinking about how awesome it will be to hang out at MacStock with Guy again, you can
all of us
with all of you. Yes, with all of you. I am looking forward to this July and getting to get my family time in a good way with all of you.
Yes.
So anyhow, where else to find me? Right. Jay Gamet on the social medias, mostly on Mastodon, PixelFed, and BlueSky. Then for shows, on Chuck's Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays, here with you, Dave, for In Touch with iOS on Thursdays. On the British Tech Network, The Big Show and The Mac Show. Then Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate it. Chuck Joyner, thank you for being here as always. It's great to have you. And where can people find you?
MacVoices.com. That's where you can find everything. We are doing our CES interviews. They're still rolling out. They're going to continue to roll out for a little while because we shot so many of them. You have, as Jeff said, Mac Voices Live Tuesday nights at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. Come and join us in the chat. And on the socials, you can find me as at Chuck Joyner. Thank you, Dave.
Great. Thank you. Thank you as always. And Eric Bolden, thank you for being here. And you've got your eagles behind you there. And I think those were the same eagles that gave you some ears.
Yep.
Where can people find you?
I can be found on Mastodon at eabolden@mas.co. Otherwise, Monday nights on Vision Profiles with visionOS content. Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live. And of course, Thursdays here on In Touch with iOS, kind of rounding out, progressing through all the OSs throughout the week and covering all the news.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. And Marty Jencius, thanks for joining us here with me in Chicago with your conference.
Yeah.
Shame we couldn't hook up, but maybe next time. Where can people find you?
Yeah. You can. Well, first of all, I'm from the land of lousy hotel Wi-Fi is where you can find me right now. But you can find me Jencius at Jencius at all the socials. My work you can find connections to at thepodtalk.net is the website. Mondays with Vision Profiles, Tuesdays with Chuck's gang is a lot of fun, and Thursdays here with this group, it's kind of the beginning of the end in terms of the weekend for me. And so it's fun to be with the group. And occasionally on the Mac Show on Friday mornings. Again, you can find the other podcasts that I'm involved in at thepodtalk.net.
Great. Thanks so much. And then last but certainly not least, Jill McKinley, always a pleasure having you on the show. Where can people find you?
Thank you, Dave, so much. And it's great being with you all. I can't wait to see you all. You can find everything I do at jillfromthenorthwoods.com, which is an idea someone gave me at MacStock. So you see, you can even get other ideas. And everything I do is on podcast and on YouTube. And you can also search for Jill from the Northwoods.
Great. Thank you so much for all of you for being here. So that is a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on BlueSky and Mastodon at intouchwithios. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe when you're notified when we're live streaming, which is Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Thanks to Cletus and Witherbucket, and I believe a couple others there. I'm sorry if I missed you. Thanks for being here in the chat. You can hang out with us live while we're recording. And you also can go there to watch the live stream and playback, as well as listen to past shows. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, go to our website, which is intouchwithios.com, where all the links to ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on the following podcasts. I'm on Vision Profiles on Monday nights with Marty and Eric, Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays with Chuck and all of us here on the gang. And we got to get you on, Jill. Mac Voices, come on. And on Thursdays here we're recording. On Fridays, most weeks I'm on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. And it's just great to have all of you here, and great to have everybody here listening and watching during the show. And then until next time, next week instead. Thanks for watching, and talk again soon.